me too. Yes.
Can you feed her before you go to bed, please, or do you want me to feed her?
I'll feed her.
James is going to feed you before bed, Katie.
Okay. Let me
You
test.
just set the trash out.
Okay. Okay. Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Yep. Okay. Should be good to go. All right. Officially live. Let me check everything out. Okay, let me see how this looks. What's up, everyone? Just gonna fly around probably about 10 minutes like usual, and this time I'm gonna start off with the tutorial. So we're gonna go from flying around to the tutorial, and then I'll answer questions. Just so if people just want to watch the tutorial, it's easy to find. It'll be pretty early on in the video. So just gonna fly around for a little bit. Tonight we're going over snaps, and it's gonna be awesome. I think it'll really help some people. I mean, honestly, just researching everything really helped me. And then I'll be talking about my new airplane I just got and future plans coming up. So many cables, though. Hopefully YouTube doesn't suck tonight. Okay. Actually increase the aileron. Whoa, getting some lag there, bro. Let me make sure. Don't need that. Close that. Okay. Trying to make sure my computer's running right. I know I didn't advertise this one quite as good. I just was super busy like the whole week, like even after work, just like super busy. So didn't get to post it to like as many places as I want to or usually do, but it's whatever. All good. So, like I said, just gonna chill for about 10 minutes. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Just say what's up, whatever you want to do. Gonna move my microphone because it's like right in my way. Sorry, that's probably loud. Hopefully audio sounds good. Let's see. Audio still good? Yeah. Okay. So, there we go. Come on, computer. I don't know why. I can always do a quick restart if I have to. Audio's good, thanks. Thanks for the heads up. Sometimes, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if my computer's just is worse or just, I don't know. I have a bunch of tabs open, which probably isn't helping, but I kind of need them. Don't necessarily need them, but I'd like to reference them. Definitely would like to reference them. I got to do some flying this week with my new airplane. I don't know. I feel like my Jetty radio is just, I cannot get comfortable with it like I was. I don't know what the deal is, so I just really need to go get more stick time, but I won't be able to get to fly till next week. Maybe Sunday if the weather's nice, but I just had this weird, it's one of those things like, it wasn't that I felt like I couldn't do what I wanted, it just felt like I had a brick in my hand the whole time. I don't know. It was weird. I'm used to this light radio in real flight, which probably doesn't help, but yeah, I just didn't feel at home when I was flying. It was weird. But and it was all on the radio too. Like the plane felt great. I just felt like I literally felt like not in sync with my radio. It was weird. Maybe I need to try new settings or something. I actually lightened up the stick tension a little bit. Because I think that wasn't helping at all. Is there an aerodynamic reason, or is it just me in practice having a harder time keeping angle of attack in inverted Harrier versus normal Harrier? Huh, you know, let's see. Whoop, that was bad. I feel like, you know, it could be a little bit of both. Honestly, though, I think that a plane, well, I don't think a plane's really going to prefer one side. Because either way, your tail is, you know, I wouldn't really say so. I've always been more comfortable inverted. I don't know why. I always thought the airplanes did better inverted. It's probably just the airplane thing, if you ask me. I'm sure there's some aerodynamic thing that that people, that makes it that way, but I don't know the aerodynamics that much. I know a little bit, but I'm not an aerospace engineer, unfortunately. Maybe you're getting old and you need more expo. That's probably it. I just suck now. That's really what it is. You guys probably shouldn't listen to me. I just am no good anymore. But I increased my expo a little bit. I went from like 45 to 55. Helped a little. It just felt like, I don't know. It was weird. I've never really felt like that. It felt like when I first got it. So maybe I'll change radios. I actually have my eye on a new radio. Which is weird because everyone's like, Jetty's the best. And they're really good. It's just if I'm not comfortable with it, I'm not comfortable with it. So I'm gonna keep at it for a while. If not, I'll go a different route. But I asked on RC groups and just for people to compare radios. But part of it too is I just can't get this to work with my Jetty radio. I can't get Real Flight to work. I've tried everything. I've tried updating my firmware. I've tried everything. And I am still stuck using this, which means I can't even really practice with the Jetty to get comfortable, which really stinks. I'm pretty sure it's just that this is a super old transmitter. It still has Futaba on it, so I'm gonna assume that that could be an issue. This was probably, I don't know, probably a Real Flight 5 or 4 radio, so it probably doesn't even work with the Jetty and the way that's all set up, which sucks. But I feel like that is definitely part of the issue too. I'm used to this. Like, I'm used to this junky radio. Oops. Futaba could be the issue. You need to say Tyrannus. I've been looking at those, and if I buy a new radio, that's probably what I'm going to get. Just straight up go with the Tyrannus stuff. Like, I don't see why like, the sensors and all the telemetry is cheap. Like, for $150 you can have like just a pretty darn good radio. So that's what I'll get. Like, straight up, that's what I'm gonna buy and put in big 3D airplanes. Which, I have a Jetty now, so some people probably are gonna freak out, tell me that's a stupid idea, but that's what I'll use. Like the Free Sky stuff. It's just, how can you not use that? 100, 200, $300 works for me. Still been trying to get warmed up on the snaps. Okay, it's almost tutorial time. So, to preface this, I'm going to say, I'm not a master at precision snaps and all this stuff. But I will also say that snap rolls and the way they're judged, and pretty much in all iMac and stuff flying, It really just depends on the day. Like, you can't tell me what's a perfect snap roll. There's a definition for full scale, but when it comes to radio controlled airplanes, when our wing loading is just nothing, I mean, on some of these airplanes, there's just, it's almost like you're floating. Doing snaps is way different than full scale, and I'll go over that. But the best way, like the way I've researched it, is I started at the full scale and then worked my way towards the model just to better understand it. And I've been looking at it for a couple nights, trying to figure out like the best way to explain it, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and then there's also a bunch of really nitty people who will pick at every small snap roll and tell you what's wrong. And if those people should just go sit in their basement and not have any fun, because no snap roll is going to be perfect, and there's no way you can judge a lot of it, if you ask me. That's my personal opinion, but some people take it way too seriously. You're not going to snap like a full-scale airplane. You're not. There's no way. Unless you're flying a brick, you're not. You're just... I don't understand how people can say, full scale does it this way, so we're going to do it this way. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, full scale airplanes are full scale. We're flying little toys. So I tried to blend the best way to explain it for both. So to start, and I guess this will be the start of the tutorial, I want to go into slow-mo, because we'll probably be spending most of the time tonight in slow motion. It's just way easier to break down everything. I would definitely recommend doing this in your simulator. This is how you want to, not necessarily practice, but how you want to envision. So let me go get the airplane in position, and then I'll start talking. In case anyone is wondering, I added more aileron control surface throw to this airplane on real flight. The main reason being, when I was flying my real airplane in real life, it's just nuts how, I was flying a 48-inch Edge by 3D Hobby Shop, which, great airplane, don't get me wrong. But now that I've got a new airplane that is kind of more with the times of what everything is doing, it's insane. Like, I got this called a RC Gadgets Slick 560. They're a new kind of company on the come up. I actually reached out to them. They didn't reach out to me. I reached out to them, and I said, "Hey, I think this is cool. Let's work out something so I can get one before they all get here." And they said, "Sure." So we worked out a deal. So I got to get one early, and it's pretty freaking awesome. And it's crazy because I haven't flown I haven't flown any new Extreme Flight stuff. I haven't flown really anything new, the 3D Hobby Shop stuff. So now that I've got an airplane that's kind of built like the new performance standards, like, I've never flown an airplane with this much rudder authority, like, not in a long time. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's awesome. But I went out and flew three flights last night, and it's a whole new ball game. So I'm gonna have to kind of get used to it. It's pretty nuts. But anyways, I'll show you guys the plane after. But let's talk about snaps real quick. And I'm gonna get out my little notebook here and go over my notes that I've taken. They're really professionally done with pencil about 20 minutes before this. So first, let's talk about some definitions. When I reference the airplane, what am I going to be talking about? So if we're going in the real flight and we're going to do a snap, the first major input is going to be an elevator pull every time, or an elevator push, depending on if it's a positive or negative snap. But there's always going to be some sort of initial elevator input. Now, I want to call this the brake. So when I say I'm going to brake, or this is the brake input I'm going to give, that's what I refer to. It's that initial up or down elevator input. Next thing, we're going to talk about what kind of reference point you should look at. So where you should look at when doing snaps, practicing snaps, is where the center of gravity on your airplane is. That's kind of what everything revolves around. So when I'm talking about the plane and what to look at, I'm probably going to be talking about where the center of gravity is as that's the point you're going to pretty much do the snap around, and that where your center of gravity can also affect how well you can do a snap. So we got break. If I'm referencing anything, think of the CG. Center of gravity's major key. Next thing, so there's a common misconception about what inputs you give when you're doing a snap. Some people will say, well, you're only supposed to give rudder and elevator. This is true. Kind of. If you're in a full scale airplane, all you have to do to snap in some airplanes is to pull on the elevator. That's all you have to do. Now, we live in 2017, so all of our airplanes have tons of power and light wing loading. So our planes really aren't going to snap when we do that. Most won't. Some airplanes will, and in full scale, some will automatically do everything you need if you just pull back on the elevator. Now, some people say, well, a true snap is with the elevator and the rudder input. And I'll say yes. For full scale airplanes, that's what I would describe the perfect snap. You're giving an elevator input, and a rudder input, and that's it. And that was really bad. I have like a tendency to give aileron for no reason, but a full scale input is only rudder and elevator, and you're doing your snap. Now, this isn't supposed to look pretty. It's just kind of for explanation purposes. This is true. You can snap an airplane just fine with an elevator input and a rudder input. The problem is and it comes down to wing loading and all this other fancy stuff that I probably can't explain, but RC airplanes don't really, some airplanes might be able to do it this way, but it's not going to be perfect. It's probably not going to be pretty. So when it comes to doing a snap roll, for most radio-controlled airplanes, it's going to be all three. You're going to be giving your initial brake, your elevator, along with some aileron and some rudder, and you end your snap. That is the basis of doing a snap roll. Now, the most important part, one, is probably, obviously the way you exit, and you want to make sure your wings are level, but when I've looked at the IMAX stuff, a lot of people, the main thing they look for is that you do have a clean brake, and it's not just a really fast, you're not just doing a roll. So here's one that would probably score really bad, where you're just you have a small snap, but it's a lot of elevator causing the airplane to roll. Really, a snap roll you'd really prefer it that you don't use any aileron. That's the technical way to do it. But for most RC airplanes, you're going to have to give some sort of aileron input to get the airplane to snap smoothly, cleanly, and not too deep. Now, that's another thing. Your snaps can have different depths. So you can do like a deep snap, where a deep snap is you're giving a much bigger elevator pull and you're really throwing the airplane around. Now in 3D, we use this a lot. So this is going to be like a snap to hover, where you're just coming around big time and you're in a hover. That's like a really deep snap. You can also do a not as deep snap, which works out well, but you can go too much, you can do too less. It's a balancing act of making sure you get that perfect snap. The thing is, with RC airplanes, the biggest challenge in doing a snap isn't the maneuver, it's doing it like full scale airplanes do. So that's kind of the main couple things. So you'll probably have someone say, hey, you're wrong, you're only supposed to use rudder and elevator. I'm going to be like, okay, that's cool, but I guarantee that your airplane it doesn't look right when you do it. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to try and get into what other people say. I'm going to tell you but this is how I am explaining it. Now, another really good way of looking at a snap, which I didn't really think of, and I saw this in a different YouTube video that was made it looked like it was made in the 80s, that it was explaining snap rolls and how they relate to other maneuvers. So another way to explain it is a snap roll is kind of like doing a flat spin, except horizontally. That's one way to put it. It's kind of like a flat spin, in the sense that it's a stalled maneuver, technically, and you are rotating about the center of gravity. So that's just a couple things I wanted to get out of the way. Is the inputs can really range from any type. You can give just aileron. You can't give just aileron. You can give just rudder. You can give just elevator. You can give a little aileron. You can use no aileron. It depends on your plane, your setup, and what kind of snap you're shooting for. So the next thing is snaps can also be, they can be, like a very deep snaps or not. They can also be negative or positive. So your positive snap roll, obviously you're going to be giving a positive elevator input, and you're done. That was a kind of a deep snap. Now, a negative snap is exactly what you think it is. It's opposite, so you're going to push. And I think that was bad. Whoops, sorry. But a negative is, instead of giving a pulling, you're giving a push. You're giving a push, so sorry. I keep messing up because I'm thinking. But instead of a positive pull, you're pushing and stalling the wing and snapping around. So that's kind of the basis of everything. I hope you guys are still following me. But I just kind of wanted to clear up those things before we do some and break them down. The last thing I want to hit is the only way you will get good at doing snaps is to practice them over and over and over and over again. There's no secret to exiting perfect. There's no secret to giving the perfect amount of braking pull to get the deep snap you want or the not so deep snap you want. It's going to be a repetitive thing. And so if you want to get better at them, you're signing up for that. I'm letting you know right now. But there are some tips which I will go over. So now that we've covered all that, let's do a couple. And the best way to practice, at least in my opinion, is either from, just start with a simple one snap roll. Don't go for a 1.5. Don't go on a 1 and 3/4 or whatever crazy thing. Start with just being able to do one snap roll perfect, or as happy as you can be. And the main thing is, so I'm going to start practicing now. The main thing you want to see is you want to make sure you have that initial pull and you have that snap all the way around. Now, some are going to look better than others. Some are not. And also you want to look at when you exit, are your wings level? Have you gone off to the side? Has you pushed your depth, kind of like we've talked about last time? But it's that pulling and it's that initial pull. That's what you're looking for to, if you're at an IMAC competition, that's what you're looking for. So start out with just doing your basic snap. It kind of depends on your airplane. If you have an airplane where you feel like you can get away with just elevator and just rudder, that's great. I've found that on most 3D airplanes, you're not going to get it. You're going to have that aileron input. So, that kind of depends on your setup. Now, one thing to note is you don't want to give too much. So, train of thought is, if you're going to give aileron input, the least amount is best. If you overdo aileron, it's more like just doing a roll at that point, and that's not what a snap roll is. Think of a snap roll as a variant of a normal aileron roll. But like I said, work on getting that initial snap down. And of course, you want to watch your altitude, make sure you don't go too high, exit too low. Same old, same old. And you're going to, part of the struggle is catching yourself out of a snap. And that's going to come with time. I can guarantee you, though, you're never just going to let off the sticks and it's going to stick. That's not the case. Why are you reducing the aileron input now? Because the aileron input, is only a supplement to making a perfect snap. It really depends on what you want your snap to look like. If You know, if I'm going to try and do it perfect, I'm going to give the least amount of aileron I can. But, you know, that's kind of for you to practice and to figure out is that aileron input. The main thing is don't use too much. If you use a bunch of aileron input, it's not a snap. The whole reason the snap works is because your wings are getting different amounts of lift and all that fun shenanigans. So that's how the practice kind of your main snap stuff is. Focus on just getting one good, clean snap. Now, of course, you don't want to build bad habits, and you know you want to be able to go both directions. So you're going to want to be able to do the rudder input both ways. That was ugly. But that's the thing about snaps. They're super simple. They're easy to do, hard, like extremely difficult to do perfect. So I know that what came up in one of the threads, in the tutorial thread, was, you know, Gabriel Altu's doing really low snaps. So he did like a positive 1.5, 2 inverted. Now I went back and rewatched that video, and if you put it in slow motion, which you can do on YouTube, I do that all the time. You put it in 25% and watch the maneuver. He does pretty much the exact same thing. He has the initial pulling motion, and then he has this snap. Now he does throw aileron input, which is totally fine, but he gave enough of the elevator brake to really get the snap motion. So that's kind of how snap rolls work. They're not easy. Don't expect us to walk up and get these perfect. Like, you're not. I can't do them perfect at all. They're hard. I want to go back into full speed and let y'all see them at full speed, and I guarantee you they're going to be ugly since I've been flying so much in slow speed, but whatever. So now that I'm at full speed, I'll actually have to come around and do passes. And of course, when you're practicing, make sure you go in each direction. That was ugly. And see, the exit's the hardest part. Is just you have to be able to hit that initial input perfect and only hold it for as much as you need. That one was a little better. See, that's too much aileron, like straight up. It's pretty much like an aileron roll, and you don't want that. It's better to do them at like half speed. Like full speed is going to make it a lot harder. If you're going to practice, really, I always really like coming off like a 45-degree downline. So you're keeping a good momentum up and, you know, 3/4 to half throttle. That's what I would recommend for practicing. The reason you do it on a 45-degree downline is so you kind of keep a little momentum while not necessarily using throttle. That one was okay. That one was a little better. That one was bad. A little better. So then once you kind of graduate up, you can work on saying, okay, I'm going to do a 1.5. And right there, I held elevator too far long. That was too deep of a snap anyways. Kind of held too much rudder there. These things are difficult. 1.5. Elevator was not perfect at all. I'll do another 1.5. Nope. Didn't really, kind of lost momentum there at the end. That was a little bit better. I'll do from 45 now. So about half throttle. That was no good. Too much aileron input. And you'll know, like, if you think, hey, that was kind of a roll, you use too much aileron. Straight up. Yeah, let me get back so I can see the chat. With the braking input, I usually get my nose up after the snap. I'm trying to finish what causes that sometimes. Too much rudder, too much braking. Usually take out the rudder before you. Yeah, you know, that's kind of part of the balance is, you know, you give that brake, you're giving in rudder, and then you're going to have to give that elevator input in. And there's no magic like you should be giving rudder at this point and only elevator at this point, you know. There is no magic. Every airplane is going to do that a little differently. Thing is though, once you kind of get the initial stick movements down, it's not hard to practice. You just look terrible doing it. See, I have a bad tendency to give too much aileron, and I'm fighting it. Those are okay. Nope, I had too much rudder. Nope. And you'll know, like, I guess it's not 100% true every time, but if you can kind of see what you're holding too long the way you exit. Now, the reason it's really critical to watch your elevator input in the brake is when you're doing just ailerons, it's so much easier to hit your normal snap. So I'm going to do mostly an aileron snap. You know, I can much better manage exactly where it's going to go. So if I'm just going to do like a snap and a quarter or whatever to knife edge. Whoops. Or a snap to knife edge. Golly. Which is honestly the one I probably have practiced the most. But it's pretty much like you're rolling. That's kind of the main thing, is you got to watch out that aileron, because at that point you're not really snapping the airplane, you're just rolling really fast. Can you do some knife edge to knife edge snap? Yes. I'll do some knife edge snap real quick. What do you need, Pablon310? So knife edge snap, knife edge. It's pretty much the same thing. You know, you're gonna give that brake push with the with your elevator input. And when you're practicing these, make sure you're staying like in your favorite orientation. So obviously, for me, it's gonna be canopy towards me, and I'm probably left or right, to be honest. So you're pushing with your elevator, same thing. And I'll slow that down for you real quick. But it's the same thing. You're still giving a brake. You're still making sure it's not all aileron. It's same stuff. So knife edge, initial brake, push. That one's pretty bad. And this would be technically a negative snap, so. That one was a little better. But you can see kind of the difference. If I'm just going to come in and, if I'm a knife edge, just give a bunch of aileron and snap it over, there wasn't that much deviation. Where if I'm coming through and I'm really going to make sure it's more of a snap, I'm going to push the elevator. Well, that wasn't really bad. I'm going to make sure I get that elevator push and snap all the way around. And I messed up that exit, but it's a knife edge to knife edge snap is normally, if you're going that direction, it's just a negative snap. So that's why it's important to have both down. But same principles pretty much. The Paulus, yeah, just rudder and aileron. Yeah, that's not really a snap. And the thing is, though, if you went to an IMAC competition, or, you were at the field doing a bunch of snap rolls, and you did them like that with just a lot of aileron and rudder, some people wouldn't notice, and they'd say they're perfect snap rolls. That's why this topic is so difficult. You're funny. You can go to timeout. Yeah, I'll just time you out if you're going to post dumb stuff. Anyways, but, that was one thing I definitely, the really big IMAC airplanes, like the Cardins and stuff, they're almost like full scale, and they're built heavier, so they snap better. Moving your CG back and forth can help if you're having trouble. I'm pretty sure that the farther back it is, the easier it's going to be, but it's not going to track as well. Now, if you really want to do snap rolls, buy like a cap 232 RC edition from someone. Put like 20 pounds of lead in it and just pull back in the elevator and it'll snap all day. That's like the cap 232 is a snap champion. Yeah, I got that guy out. Sorry about that. People, I don't know why you would come here and do that because there's like, no one here and we're literally flying airplanes, but whatever. So like knife edge to knife edge. That one, too much aileron. Nope. Nope. And those are definitely hard because that initial break isn't like you can't really see the break you get. You're just kind of going by, feel. But, I was looking at these and I wasn't sure if you're doing these. What are you breaking with your rudder? And you could, which it might be the right way. I'm not 100% sure. If you're in knife edge, do you break with the rudder and then give the input? Or do you give the aileron? Main thing is when you're doing snaps, like that's kind of the main. If you're gonna take away anything from this tutorial, this video, is that snaps are a combination of your aileron, your rudder, and your elevator. Elevator comes first because if you don't initiate a good brake, then it's technically not a snap. Your rudder should be most of the snap, and your aileron modelers use because our planes don't snap that well because they are they're just, the wing loading is just too light. Yeah, don't worry about that guy. If he comes back, I'll just ban him. So, airport dog. What about a snap to hover? See, now a snap to hover is, that's a deep snap. So if you're going to do a snap to hover, which I'm way better at this than normal snaps, so this is where I like to be. I'm a low and slow guy usually, so snap to hover, same thing, except so you can give, you could give all the aileron you want, in my opinion, because in the deeper snap, it doesn't matter as much. Whoa. Let me do that again. But so a snap to hover, you're just doing a really deep snap that kills all your momentum, and you try and cancel it out at the very end. See, I was late on catching it with the rudder. Do it again. Deep snap. A lot of aileron input because it's not supposed to be super scale. And that's it. And then you're just hovering. Oh. You could also do an inverted snap to hover. Kind of. I messed that one up. You can do it both ways. But yeah, a snap to hover is just a deep snap. That's all it is. And you can use aileron. The main thing for those high precision snaps is on the high precision snaps, you want that pitch change. Really, you need that break to get a snap. Oh, elevator first, then rudder. I've been doing them at the same time on my light planes like the Addiction. No wonder they're crappy. Yeah, and on a really light airplane, you're going to have to give more aileron input because the lighter the airplane, the just less snapping they're going to do. But typically, you give the elevator input followed by the rudder input. You the exact same time, but typically the elevator is slightly before the rudder. And then your aileron just depends. Alright, I'm going to fly normally. But, yeah, snaps are difficult. The main thing is don't get too discouraged if someone's, telling you, oh, it's not a perfect snap roll. Well, the odds are they're not doing a perfect snap roll. The perfect snap roll is insanely difficult. The main thing is break the airplane, give rudder input, and a little bit of aileron, and with the RC airplane, it'll probably be okay. It's because addictions are crap. I've never flown one. I think they're cool for just, harrying and stuff. I don't. They're old school 3D. I mean, I can definitely see why people enjoy them. I don't think I'd enjoy it though. Jace Lucia usually goes out of the snap. Some people iMac try to do the same. Take what out of the snap? What are they taking out of the snap? Gas. Yes, airspeed has a lot to do with it too. So if you're going super fast and, a snap is technically stalled. I mean, technically, when you give that initial elevator input, you're stalling the airplane. So at high speeds, as fast, like, if Jace Lucia's airplane was a full-scale airplane, he'd be doing probably like 800 miles per hour. Stupid fast. So, yeah, you could definitely roll back the throttle and allow the airplane to kind of snap and stall a little bit better. Now, high speed, you're just going to have to pretty much fake it till you make it. That's kind of the issue with snaps sometimes. So you could be going so fast while you're technically stalling the wing. It's hard. But yes, I definitely agree. You could definitely, honestly, the best snap you're ever going to do is not going to be at full throttle. Your best, precise snap. I know that I think David, I think you're the one who posted in the thread with the Mark Leesburg, and that's kind of a good example. He's not going full bore the whole time. He's, just kind of cruising and doing those nice precision snaps. So he's going, he can give that input without, just flying through the maneuver. Oh, I'm still in slow motion. Here we go, back to the normal world. And with smaller airplanes, if you're practicing snaps with a 48-inch airplane, which that's tough. I mean, that's hard. You're going to rely on aileron to really help. And getting that really nice break, it's going to be hard to see. That's why some people set up a snap rate. That's where dual rates and stuff kind of came into play, is you can set up a flight mode to where your max elevator input is the perfect brake input that allows you to rotate really well. So if I go into let's see, yeah, if I'm in real flight and I'm flying in the lower rate and I pull my elevator, that might be the perfect input. Oh, right there. You could definitely set up a snap rate where the elevator is only, you don't have to worry about giving the perfect amount of elevator. You can just pull back all the way on the stick and you're good to go. That is definitely a thing people do in iMac. Whoa, I'm lagging. I wish real airplanes would just slide on the ground like that. That would be great. If you get some time, can you show us your new plane? Yes, I'll do that here in a sec. I flew it 2 times last night. Well, actually like 2.5. But one of my batteries just... I bought a set of Dean's connectors, and they were the worst set of Dean's connectors I've ever had. Like, I put the soldering iron in it, and all the plastic immediately melted. I was amazed. And so I didn't realize that it had to happen on both. Do you call them dirty hovers, what you just done 1 minute ago? I don't know what those are called. Dirty hovers? Sounds good to me. Please give us the new settings for the Yak. Yes, the new settings. All I did was change the aileron input. I'm now at 39 degrees deflection on the ailerons. That's all I've changed. Since I'm flying smaller airplanes, you know, which roll like crazy, I added a little bit more to practice with. Yeah, the dirty hover's been around for a while. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I know Gabriel Altuz was good at them. Like, he was like one of the first people to do it. Fun fact, at Joe and All, we did like a dual flight where he was doing dirty hovers and I was kind of playing around down low with him. It was pretty cool. He was way better than me that time though. Like, I mean, he's still way better than me, but at the time I was still like pretty much a noob. Oh. Yeah, this right here. Really easy way to do these is you can pretty much do regular rolling Harriers and then just speed up really fast and you'll be doing it. Because this is the same thing as a Weeble Wobble. It's double the speed of normal rolling Harriers. That's all it is. So if I slow back down, I'll go right into a rolling Harrier. If I speed back up, I'll go right back into it. Yeah, that's the only new settings for the Yak, though. If I had more time, I would like actually edit one of these real nice, but I'm busy. I try to like keep RC flying under 5 hours a week, because when you work 40 hours a week, anything extra, if you have a hobby that takes up like 10 hours, it's like having a second job, and that's not what this is. It's a hobby. Hey, the Joffle. Awesome video. Thanks for editing that up. That was pretty cool. Just the highlight video was really neat. Thanks. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, on his YouTube channel, he kind of went through one of my old streams and kind of chopped it up and just to like the juicy bits. And also, if you are watching this and want to discuss other things like after the stream, if you go in RC groups to the 3D section, there's a thread called Whamsy's 3D Tutorials, which I don't really do the whole Whamsy thing that much anymore, but that's what the thread's called. And you can ask questions. I know David was posting in there, and that was cool. So in one episode I referenced a flight and I posted the link to that flight in that thread, and I'll have the link to that flight or that thread in the description of the video. So I know I hinted around at getting a new airplane, and I got it, so I'll kind of show it to y'all real quick. I have some flight video. My flying kind of sucked in it though, so I'm not sure if I'm going to post it just quite yet, but it's not going to fit in the camera at all, but whatever. But this is my new baby for now. Let's see here. Oh, my backdrop's getting in the way. So it is the coolest part about this thing is it takes an hour to build. It literally took an hour. It came all ready to fly. Plug and play. I literally took 2 1800 milliamp 3-cell batteries, put it in series, and that was it. And I got to go to the flying field and fly it. And it is bad to the bone. Yeah, I'll post that video in the thread. but this thing is bad to the bone. I haven't flown it with the SFGs because I don't want to scuff them up just quite yet. But I flew it last night with the SFGs, and I'm actually running a slightly heavier setup than required, and it was still pretty badass. Greetings from Norway. What's up? But yeah, so this is a new thing, and it's foam. It's like covered on the outside in the foam and balsa on the inside, and there's LED lights pre-installed. So I literally was night flying last night. I got ate up by bugs. My girlfriend got bit by literally like 20 of them flying at night. But it's all pre-done. Like, that's why I was super, like, when I saw this was coming out, I thought it was pretty cool because for me, who doesn't have a ton of time to build airplanes, and to see a 3D airplane that was built right and was pretty much ready to go out of the box, I had to ask about it. Here's the wings. The wings are, the finish is really nice. I guess it's printed onto the foam. I'm not really sure how they do that, but I'm just assuming it's printed. But yeah, it's the Slick 560. And it's RC Gadgets, and they're actually doing pre-orders for the U.S. right now. And just one cool thing I thought was really cool is all the servo, like, if you buy a ready-to-fly airplane, most of them aren't going to have CNC aluminum servo arms pre-installed. Everything, it's all, I mean, it was all pre-done. Like the cowling, all the holes were drilled already, so you didn't have to line it up or anything. You just put the cowling on. The only complaint I have so far is that I only have like one good set of batteries for it. But I'll be posting some flight video of that soon. You're doing these precision snaps in low rate. I am not. I'm doing them on a high rate because I am kind of an idiot. The thing is, though, you wouldn't even do these on a low rate. You'd really want a rate just for snaps. So you would want a lot of rudder. You would want the right amount of elevator and a decent amount of aileron. So if you're really, really serious about doing precision snaps, that's how I would have it set up. Have a rate with full rudder, have a rate with, probably 75% elevator, whatever that magic braking pitch, rate is, and then aileron. Because you're not going to need full 3D rates. I mean, if you do, you're just going to have to be good at flying the airplane, being in total control, giving just the right input you need. That's what I would do, but not a low rate. You don't want a low rate. I'd say it'd be a snap rate. Oh. Yeah, but hopefully video that airplane soon. I'm just trying to get back into flying, like getting comfortable. That's why I wasn't happy, because I was flying with the Jetty radio and I just felt like, I don't know, it was weird. But the plane, I haven't flown a plane with that much power in a while. It was pretty cool. I'm gonna post a couple teaser clips, maybe tonight, but I'm gonna edit it up. I normally don't like editing videos, like chopping and cutting, but I think in some cases it's okay. So I'm gonna edit one up a little bit, just kind of shows like the highlights, and then hopefully as I get like a little bit less rusty, I'll be able to do just like one flight perfect the way I want it. Part of the problem is I'm like a super hardcore perfectionist. So if I mess up like one time in a flight, I hate posting it, because I know it's there, and that means someone else will probably see it and be like, wow, this kid sucks. And I saw where they're coming out with Real Flight 8, so I might get that. I'm not gonna get 7.5 because I just there's no point in buying it when they're gonna upgrade all the time. Which is kind of stupid. Like, I understand why Real Flight updates all the time because they need more money, but It's kind of like buying an iPhone. You know another one's coming out in a year, but you buy it anyways because you want the best features. Oh. Yeah, so that's probably it for most of the tutorial stuff tonight. I hope that helped anyone going over snaps. I know, like, it's not one of those things I could just magically make look easy because it's not, but I think it will clear up some misconceptions for some people. 90-degree snap turn tips. I always come out with an unstable plane. Yeah, I can do those. As far as tips, I guess the real balance is when doing those 90-degree snaps. Like if you're gonna come out and just, I guess, is that what you're referring to? Is like something like that? So if you're like inverted, you go like that, or you go like that, or 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 like that. Is that what we're referring to? That's what I'm assuming. With those, some airplanes love them. The hardest, like the thing that I think always throws off the airplanes the most is the rudder input. So it's really just, it's kind of like doing like the normal snaps. It's really just focus on exit with the right amount of, you want to be fast enough to where you don't just lose all your speed and become unstable, but you don't want to be so fast to where your rudder inputs or any of your other inputs are just going to make you go crazy. I'll slow it down so you can see. It's one of those things where I probably can't. It's like subconscious, so I can't even like show you exactly what I'm doing. I'll have to just go in slow mo and let you see. But some airplanes definitely like doing them more. The little Edge, the 48-inch 3D Hobby Shop Edge, was pretty good at them. You got to find the right balance of speed though. So if you're coming out, unstable, maybe try speeding up, maybe try slowing down. Alright, so we'll super slow mode. So I'll do 1, 2 inverted. Yeah, you give that kind of opposite rudder input too. That one wasn't too pretty. I'll come in closer now. Yeah, it's just, maybe look at your speed. Oh, nope. Yeah, don't do that. Hopefully that maybe will help a little bit, Simon. Those are cool, though. They're really awesome with foamies, where they can just, kind of flip around. Bigger airplanes don't like to do them as much. But yeah, look at the speed, and then 1 and 2 is just get back on the power when you exit. Like, you're going to kill off so much momentum, you got to jump right back on the power, too. Those are cool, though. I really like those. I don't know who the first person to really do a lot of that stuff was. But props to them for figuring it out. I really wish I could use my jetty flying on here. That would be so nice. But as far as talking about future plans, I won't be streaming next week. I'm going to take a break for 1 week. I'm going to try and promote and work on some other stuff. Just take a break, find a good topic. So if you guys have any topics you'd like to see, post them in the comments of the video that'll be on YouTube or in the live chat on the stream. Let me know what you guys want to see. I know this one was pretty requested, but I know it's one of those videos where it's not going to be like my normal tutorials where it's like, hey, I know how to do it now. It's more like, here, I'm going to show you the basics and explain it for you. Thank you so much. I have no problem with the foamies, but with the 4891, I find it hard. They're definitely much harder. Yeah, just, try different power settings, try different momentums. You're going to find the kind of the sweet spot. At full throttle, it's going to be super tough. With my 104, when you had like a medium amount of speed, it liked it. Blenders and pop tops. Can definitely do something about those. I don't want to say like when it comes to pop tops, I was like one of the pro OGs for a while, but I feel like for a while I had like the best pop tops in the world for like a day. But I love pop tops. Now they're a lot more like full throttle tops. But I remember when those first became popular and everyone's like, oh my god, pop top. But really for like competition flying, they suck. It's like you burn up all your momentum, and I mean you can come out in a flat spin. You might come out in an inverted flat spin. There's not much else for them. Now, I mean, doesn't mean we just stopped, but I know my first King 50 routine I ever flew in, the first competition I ever flew in, I did a pop top as like my finale, and pretty much did a pop top to flat spin to landing, kind of. I didn't crash. I got 6th. I was pretty happy. But pop tops were the rage at that time. But I can definitely go over those. Blenders are just sticks in the corners. They're really loud. If you really want to impress someone who's never flown like RC, do blenders. Like the louder a maneuver is, the more cool people think it is. Like you can sit there and do rolling Harriers in every direction to someone who's never seen an RC airplane fly. As soon as you do a blender, like, whoa, that's awesome, and you're like, they're not hard though. I'm just going to keep flying around. It is probably about 9:07. 9:05. So I'm going to probably fly to about 9:15 and then I'll be done for the night. I don't quite understand well the double speed thing on the Weeble Wobble. Okay, yeah. I'll definitely go over this. So when you're doing a Weeble Wobble on a downline, the reason I say like you double the speed, so you pretty much, when I say double the speed, you're doubling the inputs you give. You're speeding up the order of inputs. So when you're doing a rolling Harrier, here, let me go back in the slow motion real quick. I've flown in so much slow motion. So if you're doing rolling Harriers, you're giving your rudder here, you're giving your elevator, you're giving your rudder, elevator, rudder, elevator, rudder, elevator, and you're repeating that process and changing the timing for how you want to turn. So now if I speed up my timing, so let me go back around. So if I speed up my timing, it's going to move where those inputs are given. So now if let's say I double my speed or increase my speed, when I'm giving my elevator input, it's when my rudder input should be given. So now it's like elevator, rudder, elevator, rudder, or rudder, elevator. You're pretty much increasing how fast you move the sticks, which increases or changes the timing of when the elevator and rudder inputs are given, and that timing causes the Weeble Wobble. So let me try and do it again. It's hard to explain. It's one of those things like literally to practice this, go up, do a downline, and try just do rolling Hares really fast. Like that, that'll do it. So if I'm doing a rolling Harrier, it's rudder, elevator, rudder, rudder, elevator, rudder, and now I'm going to speed up. So now it's elevator, rudder, elevator. Oh, that one didn't work out quite as well. Let me go on a down line. But that's what you're doing. You're speeding up those inputs. So we'll go up on a down line. And it's literally the same thing as rolling Harrier, except you're going faster. So I'm just going a little bit faster than my normal rolling Harrier inputs would be. I want to try and do it. It's kind of like I said earlier, if you just do normal rolling Harrier like this, and then now I just give faster inputs, you're going to pop up into a hover and do this. Let me go into fast mode because it's easier to see. Alright, so I'm going to go down this way. This is my normal inputs, and you'll see my sticks kind of speed up. Same pretty much motion, but... So now I'm speeding up a little bit. And now if I do that on a down line, same thing. Down line. Now I will say you're giving more pronounced, so you might give more input, but it's still the same kind of rhythm. You're just increasing the rhythm of your rolling Harriers on a down line. That's all it is. Like I said, hard to explain. I wish I could, explain it better, but that's kind of the best way to do it. So if you're going to practice, just go on a down line and try and do really fast rolling Harriers. And you'll kind of get it. See, even if I go up really high and push over and just give it really fast like this, you still do it. I can actually do a right hand spin, keeping a look on the nose and getting the airplane inside the line, but I don't know the reference on the Weeble Wobble. So when I guess you say references, I guess is what you look at. When I'm doing a rolling Harrier spin, I typically reference my elevator input. When you're doing the Weeble Wobble, I normally try and look kind of where the wing meets the nose, and I look at that point. And I pretty much know when that starts moving the right direction, I'm giving the right inputs at the right speed. Yeah, because a rolling Harrier spin, I mean, you're still doing rolling Harriers. It's just what's the difference between a rolling Harrier spin and Weeble Wobble? Okay, let me go up. Rolling Harrier spin. I'll do it first. So I'm just gonna do a wing over. Rolling Harrier spin. See how my plane is going always. I crashed. Your plane is always going towards the inside. You're always kind of going in a spinning like corkscrew all the way down. Whereas the Weeble Wobble looks like this. You're all the way up. And your tail's kind of batting around. Since I'm not doing a stream next week, maybe I'll do just a video on this topic. And the best part about that is I can record all the footage and talk afterwards, which will probably help in explaining it. But yeah, so when you're doing the rolling Harrier spin, it's still a rolling Harrier, except you're pushing the nose into itself, whereas the Weeble Wobble is completely different. It's completely different timing. Completely different timing. A lot of people will say a Weeble Wobble is the same thing as a rolling Harrier spin. It's not. It's not. If anyone says that, slap them. I mean, Or not. You don't have to slap them, but you could. Hopefully that kind of maybe helped a little with the Weeble Wobble. I think that's definitely a future video rather than stream. Streams are good for like a general concept or topic. For just a maneuver, it's kind of a little bit harder. One, because it's harder to explain stuff when you have the radio in your hands instead of breaking it down. I definitely plan on getting back into that. It's just, it's hard to go out to the field and record a 48-inch, 53-inch airplane for a tutorial because 100cc looks so much better. You can see everything. So if anyone wants to, you know, let me fly their 100cc airplane, I can't promise you'll get it back, but it'll be in a video. That'd be pretty cool, right? I do have one though. What I really need is someone to bring like a storage unit like right next to my apartment, and I'll keep a 100cc airplane in there. That would be cool. I'm actually thinking about doing that because I do miss flying 100cc a lot. Anything else I can touch on? Probably my last question before I eat some chili and go to bed. I like that. Yeah, I think we all would, right? That sounds like a pretty good deal. I wish real airplanes would just do this. Like that easy. Well, without the crashing part. Oh, that's so ugly. I'm sorry. Thanks again, James. Gotta go make the kid dinner now. Adulting sucks. I just want to play aeroplanes. I feel ya. I feel ya 1,000%. Thanks for coming, Dan. How do I do perfect crankshafts? Is there such thing as a perfect one? I guess the more perfect is how low it is and how like your airplane, you know, if you almost break your airplane, you've done a perfect crankshaft. But crankshaft is pretty simple. Sticks in pretty much the top upper corner. Now the way you can vary that is what aileron input you give and what rudder input you give. The aileron input kind of levels you out a little bit, so you can definitely play with that. I'll do one in slow-mo. So if you don't give any aileron input, it's pretty much just a snap. But if you do give aileron input, it kind of levels out and allows you to get those deeper spins. Or less aileron input, I should say. Like I said, it's pretty deep snaps. You'd be amazed how everything is just a snap roll that you hold a little extra of one longer than other. Yeah, I hope to do a video like that soon. But I hope tonight helped a little bit at least. Like I said, just go try it on the simulator or in real life. Do a downline and just do fast rolling hares, and I think you'll be surprised at how easy you'll get it. But I think that's going to be about it for me tonight. If you have any questions you want answered for next tutorial or next stream, put it in the comments of this video, or go to the link in the description, which is the thread on RC Groups where I keep track of pretty closely. Big shout outs to RC Gadgets for the Slick 560 I'm going to start flying, and hopefully will show up in some videos. So shout outs to them for hooking me up and giving me a chance to kind of get an airplane early. But this thing's cool, and I'm going to do some more with it. I've already worked on a build thread, so if you're interested, there is a build thread on RC Groups that's already there, and I took pictures of the whole build, and I also will be doing a build video. But the last thing is no stream next week. I'm taking a week off, so that would give kind of 2 weeks to find a good topic. So let me know what y'all want to see. And the best way to support me is just share the stream with your friends, your mom if she's into flying, whatever. I've had 20 people watch like almost every night, which is awesome. That's more than I thought I would get. So thank you guys for who've been coming out, and the guys in the chat. David, you've been really awesome, just posting a whole bunch of questions, just everyone. That really helps me out. The more people who ask questions, the better I can do. So thank you everyone for coming out. I'm going to eat some chili and go to bed. It has been real. But I'll be posting some new stuff, and if you were here last stream with the 3D printed glider, I finished up the second round of design on that. So I would have had a half printed, but I printed the wrong thing. So that was my bad. But I am going to build a glider because the gliders are cool. But I am out. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure. I got to find the end the stream button, though. Here we are. All right. See y'all next time. Not next week, but the week after that, I'll be back. Leave a comment. Tell me if you can do snap rolls. Talk to you later.